Hello and welcome to the Small YouTuber Show. I'm your host, Mr. Johnny25, and today we have got a great show in store for you. We are going to be talking about all things AI. Now, I have a very special guest with me today. LD is in the house. I'm going to add him in now, and we are going to go straight into this great discussion. So, LD, how are you today, sir?
How you do? You okay?
I'm very well, thank you. Do you know why I even feel, do you know why I've got a smile on my face?
Why? What's up?
Because I'm seeing you in the flesh, brother. This is the first time that I have my boy up on the screen, and any beautiful people, isn't he beautiful? If you are new to the, yes, no, I'm not. I'm gonna champion my bro. Guys, if you're new to the stream, please hit that thumbs up and basically subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for being here. This is a pre-recording, so unfortunately we won't be able to respond directly to your comments, but if you do leave questions, I will try and reply back to them in the comments section. So, has it been a great week for you, sir? You okay?
Brilliant. Yeah. Always good weeks, man. I don't have no bad
yes
weeks.
We're going to be talking about AI, artificial intelligence. Now, this is something that, in many ways is only discussed in sci-fi movies as like humanoid robots.
Mm-hmm.
But things have changed. It seems like AI is now here to stay. It's now in reality.
When did it come across your path?
So I'm a sci-fi buff. So I have always been into the whole sci-fi genre. In fact, it's my favorite type of genre. So I've always imagined a life where that would be possible. I've always wanted to have that element of, we can create something bigger than ourselves, So in terms of it being in my path, probably from a child, from the moment I saw Star Wars and, R2-D2 and CP3O, there was always a concept of man can create something artificial to himself, but better than himself, a walking library. What about you? When was the first time it sort of dawned on you that this is a thing?
I guess if you're going deeper, like what you said, the sci-fi stuff from back in the days, but having like a full comprehensive understanding of what this thing is going to be, what it can be, and where they're going with it, a couple of years maybe, not long.
But that's the thing, isn't it? To many people, there are many people around the world now that are still pretty much unaware of its capability,
and it's already here.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Now, you know me already, and if you've been a follower of our talks recently, I like to do research. I like to be able to understand exactly the point that we're talking about, because I'm a novice. I don't know a great deal about the whole AI concepts, and so I felt like I'll take us on a little history lesson.
You're a historian, so
I love my history. So I have my paperwork here. I know. So settle in, buckle down, and be ready for a little history lesson in terms of AI, because we set, just in the conversation we've had already, we've already set a limit of the AI knowledge. Or when did we first appreciate sci-fi, which was in movies, and that would have been in the late 70s. We're old enough now. We're old enough to remember. Okay. Early 80s. I saw a meme the other day where they said, 30 years ago, and the girl said, the 70s. She was like 92.
You understand?
92.
Yeah. That's 50 years ago, bro.
Do you know what I'm saying? So sci-fi has been on the radar. However, this is even more interesting. What I'm about to talk about is the history of artificial intelligence. Now, the very first mention, and obviously, guys, if you're in the chat, you'll be able to do your research and probably find, earlier incidents of it. But on the research that I did, one of the earliest concepts of artificial intelligence dates back, believe it or not, to the ancient civilizations. It's not this. The concept of artificial intelligence is not new to us. It's been around for millennia. And if
Break that out, please.
yeah, and I'm going to, because it's quite amazing. When you think of mythology, right? So when you think about how the early humans understood their position in the world, they had artificial creatures as part of their mythological world. Now, in the Greek mythology, they had something called Talos. Now, Talos, you may have seen it, believe it or not, if you've seen films like Jason and the Argonauts or any of those films around that period, because Talos was a bronze-shaped man who used to pick up boulders and would throw the boulders at ships that were coming close to, the Greek cities. He was a robot made of bronze. Okay. Mechanical.
Yeah.
So in other words, humans had already worked out that they can build things that look like themselves, but were not themselves, that could do things that they couldn't do. And Talos was a giant bronze shape, huge. We're talking, a massive building that would pick up massive boulders to protect a city. That's part of their mythology. But they weren't the only ones, because I found out as well, and it's quite interesting, the name here. In Jewish folklore, they had a character called Gollum. Now, where have you heard Gollum before?
Oh, Lord of the Rings.
Exactly. Gollum, the name they used for that character actually predates by thousands of years the whole concept of the mythological world that was created with that whole line of books that were created. Gollum was brought to life by a rabbi, and he would, it was basically created by like rituals. So there were some weird rituals that they would do, and it would bring this Gollum to life. And he would do very complex things as well. So in other words, things that were out of the ordinary for humans, this Gollum could do that. Now, I know it sounds crazy because we're going to bring it all the way to, modern day, but I just wanted to sort of lay a foundation that artificial intelligence is not new. It's not new to us. Humans have always wanted to create things bigger than themselves, better than themselves, faster than themselves, stronger than themselves. They've always wanted to build things that were on a higher level. So we're
aspirational.
It's amazing. They are just all we've done is reinvent the wheel, but on a different level. Yep. Because keeping in mind that when you realize that there are lots of things in the ancient world that we still can't explain, we can't explain the pyramids being built, not by human hands.
They're trying.
Yeah, well, they might give it a go, but the pyramids obviously were built by things bigger than themselves, bigger than us, stronger than us, better than us. The mathematical equations they worked out with the stars, we didn't again work out till NASA hit the world. These are things that were beyond us. So if you imagine that we've got historical characters, mythological characters that were all artificial. So this is not new to us. Now I'm going to move forwards because obviously I'm very conscious of time and I don't want to drag it out because I want us to discuss things as well. We can talk about the things, philosopher René Descartes from the 17th century. These are whole new discussions. We're not going to go into that because that was deep. But what we will do is we'll go to the 19th century and we'll discuss the Industrial Revolution, because that's when we saw the rise of the machines capable of performing tasks that were mostly done by humans, i.e., we know the slaves, or they were done by animals. When you had the ox pulling the cart to toil the soil and tilt the soil, turn the soil over. I can't feel the exact terminology now. We now were able to use machines to be able to do that.
Yep.
And to me, this laid down like the groundwork for the idea of the artificial intelligence to replace humans. Sorry, just have a quick sip of water. So then we now know all the things that were replaced by artificial intelligence. So in the olden days, they used to ride and use horses. We replaced the horse with the car. They used to fight with swords. We replaced the sword with the gun. They used to travel by boats. We replaced that with the steam engine, and be able to go circumnavigate the world with the use of artificial intelligence created by us. Now, the term artificial intelligence, AI, was coined in 1956 at the Dartmouth Conference by John McCarthy, Marvin Minsky, Nathaniel Rochester, and Claude Shannon. And they say that this is the birth of the modern AI field. There were, as I said, there's lots of things that I could mention from the 50s up until the 70s, until we get to the things like algorithms and, that kind of world where we suddenly saw Siri, Alexa, autonomous vehicles, medical diagnosis. There's lots of things that we went sort of normal, and then we just shot up with our ability because it started to work, didn't it?
There's a lot of theories around that.
Please,
that technological leap might be another pod in itself. I think that.
Well, the part of the research that I came up with was that the complete increase in the improvement of our understanding of AI was because AI improved itself. AI, AI learned. I can go to A to Z quickly, but actually, I've now worked out a way to do that simple qualification quicker. So it did, and we've just improved and got better with it. The whole concept of AI is amazing, and I feel like I'm sort of talking about the positives of it, where we could focus on the negatives as well, because there's lots of things that I think we're going to discuss. But I just wanted to get the ground, the foundations of where AI comes from,
and also show the continuity.
And show because I think that if we just went straight off to Alexa and Siri and Chat GPT, we need to show the link of how we as humans have evolved on the technological stepping stone.
It's the latest iteration of AI. That's what you're saying, basically. Yep, get it.
So in terms of AI at the moment, AI is considered a tool. That is ultimately what AI is considered to us, a tool with which for us to work better, to learn quicker, to simplify our lives, to streamline and personalize our daily tasks, so that we have the opportunity to be more creative with other things.
Yep.
I just read to you, that was like the mantra of what AI is trying to sell us as. Yeah. But to the common man and woman out there, AI has the potential to replace you. And that to me is the danger. Because
do you think that is a real possibility?
Well, it's already happened. It's already happened. That is already a reality in the world we live in, and I'll give you some examples of how it has. Because again, when I was looking at content for us to talk about, I did think to myself, well, if I pose the question, can AI replace you and me in our day-to-day lives, what is also the danger of that? And I basically put that into Chat GPT.
Man.
I actually put that into Chat GPT because I wanted to see what it'd come up with. I wanted to see what are you know, if I open the lid on this information, what are you going to tell me? And it came up with 4 things. The first
Sorry,
thing,
before you start, do you know what you would have
yeah,
had to do 30 years ago?
I would
You
have
would
to
have had
go
to
to a
walk
library.
up to the top of Barry Road and end up in that library at the top there and go through some encyclopedias.
Exactly. Or, take a trip up the motorway to Cambridge or to Oxford and sit in a few classes with some professors.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way that we would have get this information. But information, we've gone past that stage now. The information that we can get is so quick, so vast, and on literally press a button, I now know what I need to know. Now it covered 4 subjects, which I thought was very interesting, and I think we'll talk about each one. The first one was customer services. Now, how big is the customer service world? It's massive. It's huge, isn't it? The customer service world is huge. If you want to do something and the wheels fall off, if I want to,
everybody is a customer, so
100%,
yeah.
all of those jobs are under threat, because if you know what chatbots can do now and the way in which they are designed to mimic human conversation, I don't know if you've fallen foul of it, but I have. Had a phone call, phoned my bank. I want to complain about, a financial error. And yes, I can help you with that. Oh, fantastic. Carry on talking. And then you said the same thing again. Yeah, I can help you with that. And I'm like, hold on a second. Are you human? And then you realize, oh, no, I'm talking to a chatbot. But I didn't realize at first. But even there were let me check on you for that. Now that to me was, that's how real this chatbot was.
That's
that
different.
they were adding human elements to the conversation, which is why I got sucked in for so long. And I'm there waiting and going, oh yeah, blah blah blah. No, this was a
real
chatbot.
Conversation with them.
With a chatbot that did not exist. And so you imagine that the customer service world. So if you're on customer services, you must be looking at this and thinking, well, that could take my role. We are always going to want a human element, but sometimes your question can be answered by a chatbot. What is the current balance of my bank account? Or I want to create a direct debit, or I want to create a standing order, or I want to pay this company on this date in the future. All of these things can be dealt with quite easily by AI.
So I'd push back a little bit on what you said. You said that you would want humans to deal with that in most cases.
No, what I mean is once the wheels fall off, because I said at the very beginning, once the wheels fall off, you contact. Sometimes all of the questions, frequently answered questions are where the AI lives.
Yep.
But my question may not be frequent. It may not be easy for you to answer my question through the 25 frequently answered questions. So I am going to want a human. I want a human, but there may be 100 phone calls into that number, and 5 of them may require a human element. 95 of them could be dealt with as a frequently answered.
And I'm sure that's what the gamble is, isn't it?
Yeah. And so AI definitely pushes back in that situation. I don't know if you want to add anything before I move on to the next subject.
Sometimes if you've had bad customer service, then you probably don't mind them being replaced by robots. I'm
yeah,
just saying. That's why I said I'll push back a little bit, because I think
yeah.
sometimes there are people that do jobs that don't really want to do those jobs, and
Okay, I get that. So
you know,
yeah, so you want a level of professionalism that AI will give, because it's black and white. It's yes, no.
it's not.
It's absolute.
Yeah, exactly. It's objective, and you're not
And
gonna. It's not having a bad day. Do you know
yeah,
what I mean? Yeah, that
yeah.
kind of
I've only
thing.
had 2 hours sleep because I went partying last night, and
Yeah,
now
yeah. And it
no, I
shows
get
with
that.
in some cases sometimes.
Yeah. So the second point in the world of AI is education. So as I said to you already, I based this entire conversation that I'm having with you with information that I got via the AI world. And it said, now imagine this, schools will be obsolete. Verbatim. That's exactly what it said. You will have the world's knowledge at your fingertips. At the digital level, AI, it will have the world's knowledge at your fingertips. There will be a teacher that will never get tired, will never get sick, and will always be able to teach you what you need to know. There is there's no weakness in data, as long as the data is correct, right?
Right.
So your children, so you imagine that if you had an online tutor for your children, say, I don't want to take my kids to school, or I might live a transient life in the sense of, kids, we're going to live in this country for a few years. We're going to live in that country for a few years. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. I want you to have a holistic, the holistic approach to child rearing, where you're not sending them to a primary school, secondary school, high school, whatever you call it. AI will educate your children. It won't. I'm not talking about the human element. Obviously, we learn a great deal how to handle humans with human to human contact. But if just in the sense of education, just purely knowledge based, AI would replace schools quite easily. Opinions, please.
Yes, I don't think that's going to happen.
Okay.
You can't get rid of the human element, but also, who is going to push the child? Who is going to is that child being left to their own devices to seek knowledge, and
that's going to be up to the parents, isn't it?
Who are probably not working because AI is doing their job. So maybe that might work. I don't know, but I would say.
Well, think of COVID during that period of time when the world shut.
Right, and so
schools
what's
weren't
happened?
open.
No, and since they've opened back, loads of kids are not turning up to lessons. Like truancy levels have gone through the roof because they've figured out that they didn't need to be at school. So if you're saying, well, there you go. So if you're gonna turn around and say, right, you don't need to be here, we can teach you via laptop, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Then I don't know. There needs to be an element of a little bit of human interaction, a little bit of discipline that you're going to need to learn. Everything can be Googled.
Yes.
But the people that I see using Google the least are the youngest, who have grown up with it.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like they live on their phones. They could quite easily.
They live on their phones. Yeah.
But they're not.
I agree.
No, you're right. But they're maybe not doing well.
But they're not seeking the knowledge. Most people, sort of Gen Xers, for example, if they want to know something, they YouTube it, they'll Google it, and then figure out how to do it. And I see a lot of younger people asking, "Do you know how to?" Well, all I'm going to do is go on YouTube or Google
and find out. Yeah,
tell you. Yeah. So,
well, this is this. The second part of the education side was that the AI could analyze at the analytical. We're talking. There will be an algorithm created on you as a person, and it will be able to, regulate and report your progress, identify your weaknesses, your strengths, and on a chart. So imagine at the moment when you're in school, you're assessed by your teachers, and your teachers will decide, yeah, you need to be in the top set. You might need to be in the lower set because you need a little bit more help, and along those lines, which is quite normal.
Yep.
But then we've now realized that sometimes the people that are in the lowest set actually are geniuses, and they're bored, and they're literally, their minds are on such a different level that you teaching them is too slow. So they act up in the class, and they end up being how many.
But how does AI tailor made? How is AI tailor made for them?
This is what I mean. It says that at the analysis, it can progress you daily. It can progress you at the minute level. It can literally assess how much time have you studied. It can't tell you what your brain says, but it can tell you, well, I asked you that question on Monday, and I asked you that question again on Thursday, and you got it right. Tick. Do you get what I mean? I'm not talking about the human side of it, because obviously AI is a robot. It is artificial. I'm not talking about the human element. That's why I said, you'll still need a parent, a guardian, someone behind them to push them in that direction, because you couldn't say, right, kids, educate yourself, see you later, because they will just go on.
So my take would be there's room for that plus a new style of schooling. So the current model isn't fit for purpose because too many kids fall through the gaps, right? So you can bring the two together, but I still feel like you're going to need a lot of human intervention still, because
but would you need as much? That's my point. This is saying,
right, so
would you need...
okay, so one of the things that I had down as a con for AI was, it's what we just said earlier, is that it's completely objective, right? So it doesn't have the empathy. Also, there are biases that could be programmed into AI, as seen with facial recognition. So facial recognition, if it's all the programmers are white in Silicon Valley, they are focusing more on their likeness and things like that, and the people who will fall through the gaps tend to be black or brown people, right? So now if you take that to studying, and you're taking all the data from the studying, and say you're taking the biases from the people who give you that data, who might think, oh, that Johnny's a troublemaker, when Johnny just has ADHD, so needs a different type of learning style. It could still be replicated via AI. Do you see what I mean? Because when we go down this route, it's almost it's going to determine then who is likely to be good, who is likely to be bad, because that's what they're doing in law enforcement. They're trying to say that they'll be able to predict who is going to commit crimes.
We're going to get to that.
You understand what I'm saying, though?
Yeah. I did some research on that actually, and we'll talk about that in a second. So in terms of the points so far, because obviously when I did the research, it said customer services, education. There were 4 points that it highlighted for us. There's lots of other applications, because the one thing about new technology is the people that create technology say, you can do this to do that. Then once it's out there, people go, hang on a minute, you can do this as well. And that. So AI at the moment thinks to itself the core elements: customer services, education. The next point was health. No, it said, at the moment, we are already seeing this. This is already fully integrated, and it'll only get more. This will only be on an upward scale.
Healthcare. Okay.
The application. So health apps that we have on our phones and whatnot, they track our physical health, and they also monitor our mental health. Now imagine that. These are AI that is already being practiced and used in the medical field that track our physical health as well as our mental health. And quite interestingly, stress management can be tracked and regulated. And I actually wrote Minority Report came into my head when I saw that, because because if you're wearing a watch and it can monitor your heart rate, all it takes is for that watch to be sending data via Wi-Fi or mobile phone, whatever, to a hub somewhere, and it says, wow, his heart rate has shot up. His stress levels have increased dramatically. We already know that we can be tracked via our phones, triangulating. So they can say, we know where you are and we know your stress levels are high. What are you doing? And if they've got CCTV in the area, then they have everything they need. Because at the moment it was CCTV. They know where you are. If they find you,
are you saying that that's a bad thing?
I'm saying that is definitely on the scales of bad thing.
They might just find somebody in a one-to-one with their manager.
Could well be, but what I mean is imagine then that if you did, let's just say that you ended someone's breathing ability, right?
You unalived them.
You unalived someone, right? They would be able to track you backwards, because they could say, was he in that area at that time? Yes, tick. Have we been able to get him, we've triangulated his mobile phone or his watch? Check. Have we physically got eyes on him with our CCTV? Check. What was his heart rate like at this time? Check. What was his...
I don't see that as a bad thing. If you unalive somebody with all of your tech gear on, you deserve to be caught. So
yes. But what I'm saying is that if we look at, say, big countries with red flags, that have very in-depth CCTV coverage, your freedom, your free will, your freedom is seriously infringed.
I get that.
And I think that's, to me, is going to be, I wrote down on there one of the things that worried me the most. I mean, don't get me wrong, if I was in customer service, I would definitely be worried. If I was in education, I'd be worried as well. I'm not in either. So that didn't worry me. I thought, that's not my problem. But when it came to health,
see, I saw that as a good thing.
Okay. This is the beauty of discussions.
Yeah, in terms of being able to track and monitor everything and know what your blood glucose is, or what your heart rate is, or how well you slept at night, whether these type of things you can then analyze and do something about it. Most people don't have any of that, or back in the day didn't have any of that, and then thought they was okay, and then dropped down at 47. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, I see that. I was thinking more along the lines of
Big Brother, from Big Brother's standpoint. Okay.
Yeah, because to be honest with you, anything that we do could be potentially manipulated. And I thought that's the way it's very, customer service, I've got to phone you for you to come back to me. Education, I need to go into you to be able for you to come back to me. But health, now you're invading.
You're giving all your data, essentially.
Yeah, you're invading me now. This is where it becomes personal. And that was the only reason why I thought, well, that could become very intrusive very quickly. And AI, obviously, is already doing it. This is the thing. Where I'm saying
whether you believe that the people that are behind all of this are benevolent or malevolent. So
yeah, okay,
you know what I mean?
yeah, no, definitely. I agree with that.
There's a balance to be had, isn't there?
Somewhere. Yeah, there is 100%. So I wrote down in capital letters, it has the ability to know your current state of mind and alert authorities, whether that be a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know. But that's the potential for it. So having a heart attack, I want the ambulance to know where I am. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
If I've done something that I shouldn't have done, I don't want them to know I've done it.
You should be caught. So, like I say, so
Well, yeah, because I ain't no criminal. Yeah, I get that.
exactly.
That's fine.
Yeah.
So the last section that I wanted to talk about was finance. Now, believe it or not, that's the fourth category that it considers itself to be at the forefront, because not only will AI be able to follow trends faster than you, it will be able to do trades faster than you. It will be able to understand algorithms quicker than you can. And if you gave it access to your money, it could lose it quicker than you could. It could potentially make you money so that you would be able to do whatever you, because all of these things supposedly are designed to free up your time.
So when I was saying earlier that when I first heard of it was a couple of years ago, that was through the trading. That was to do with algorithms that they use. They do, I think it's called high frequency trading, which is a form of AI almost, where they basically trade fractions of a second faster than everything else. So they can front run every trade. And this has been going on. This has been going on for over. Of course it is, and that's
a massive unfair
a huge edge that they've got over everyone else. So, I don't see how. I wrote this down actually. With this, I'm not sure how it will end up working out if AI traders can beat the market, because then it's a zero-sum game. So somebody has to lose for somebody to win, right?
Yes, exactly.
Now, who would trade if you know that you can lose every single trade against a robot?
No,
there's got
to be some. They'll have to put some stringent rules in to stop that happening, because
if the house always wins, then you wouldn't go to Vegas, would you? People go because there's that slim chance that you might.
I did not know that. That's interesting.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see where they go with that.
There'll have to be, well, as I said, in the same way that we have regulators, the financial regulators, they'll have to have something in place that will say that, because what happens when I have an AI and you have one?
That's what I'm saying.
Who's faster?
AI bot against AI bot.
Yeah. And not that I want to, because this is the thing. Whenever we think of AI, AI has a very interesting story, in the sense that at some point, everybody admits or agrees that it will become sentient. Everyone seems to admit that. Everyone seems to go that whatever we do and however we create it and in whatever form it becomes, at some point it will become self-aware. And then we are surplus to requirements. Because in the same way that the car made the horse and cart obsolete almost, or the Industrial Revolution made, the slave picking cotton obsolete because we could do it by engine. AI could potentially have the same exponential growth. And I don't know if you've seen videos where two AI were communicating with each other in their own language. I don't know. You'll have to, I mean, don't get me wrong, that could just be clickbait, but I genuinely.
The thing is, you could create such a video via AI. Do you see what I mean?
You could.
And this is where this. I think we kind of jumped over in between pros and cons, but one of the cons that I had was that scams and everything that you're seeing right now, where you see a video of someone talking, and like Martin Lewis, for example, money
I saw
saving
that.
expert, right?
It wasn't him,
It
was
wasn't
it?
him, but it's him, and it's somebody
Amazing.
else's words, him saying them. So you have this now, which is only going to get worse. So those type of scams are all over the place, all over the internet. So
I'm not joking. I was amazed when I saw that, because I realized, how do we how are we going to believe what's real? Like, one day, could someone take over one of the news channels
mhm,
and basically, log in a bot that could, like a virus that will
well,
basically say what we want. We think we're saying what we're saying, but actually our mouths are being manipulated to say something
yeah,
completely different, and the mass will follow. Because
mhm,
when I saw that video,
mhm,
how would we know it was not him talking? They got
yeah.
the right voice,
Mhm.
they got the face, the mannerisms,
It's not just
everything.
him, it's all of the influencers now, it's all of the entertainers, the sports stars, blah blah blah, right? So you've got that happening.
Yeah.
Imagine, I don't know, a bad actor, a country with, like you said, a red flag, decided that
Mm,
they wanted to make someone over here a criminal, and there
yeah.
was footage of that person creating or doing such any
Yeah.
type of illegal activity.
Mm,
Do you know what I mean? That's enemy of the state territory, but it's it's
yeah.
easy enough to do. It's very easy to do now. So
So,
who knows what they're doing at that level? We could do that. Me and you could do that about somebody
mm,
if you wanted to. Yeah. So what are the states doing now? The
well,
China, well,
I would imagine that anything that is out and anything that we are privy to, the powers that be are 5 years ahead of us, if not 10 years ahead of us,
I'd say
and
more, way more than that.
they slowly
Mm.
seep out stuff to
I,
us.
I believe they've given us Chat GPT to play with. They've had that for ages. It's
Yeah.
basically our data that we've been inputting over the years or decades
Yeah. Yeah.
onto the internet, and they're giving it back to us in a much sleeker, precise, concise version. Yeah. So you're getting
Mm.
it back perfectly. But I've lost my train of thought. But
Don't worry. The
what
thing
what
is,
I was go on.
the thing is, AI is here to stay. It is part and parcel of human life now.
Mm,
Um, but is it going to help us as humans to, like it says, free up time and give us more time to do the finer things? Because I don't see that in the world. In the world that we live in, humans, as in, here in the UK, we're having to do long hours at work just to be able to put a roof over our head. We're
mm,
having to sacrifice a lot of the personal time that we'd love to have with our families and our children, to just to make ends meet. And we're in a world where AI is here now, designed. It's meant to be here to make life easier, when
yeah.
actually, at the moment, it's competing with us. It's meant to be helping us.
Yeah. Well,
Now, from those points I've just mentioned, it's competing.
yeah, but you see, you've got the Silicon Valley, the Elon Musks, and these people. They're all in control of it, so they
Yeah.
probably think that most of us are surplus to requirements anyway. So I think I saw something that I don't think was AI generated, where Musk was saying we won't have any jobs, so therefore we're going to have universal basic income, because what is everybody
Yes.
else going to do?
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. What,
That's worrying.
no, well, yes and no. I mean,
Well,
what's the
how does that?
alternative? Mad
Yeah,
Max,
good point. I see what you're saying, but the
anarchy.
idea that we would all be on social, like, we would all be like, basically being paid by the government. So we would. Isn't that communism? Isn't that a socialist way of thinking? I mean, is that the way? Is that what AI is going to eventually do to us? Make us all socialists? You
Yeah,
know?
I don't think it's going to go that far.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be something glaringly obvious that will come to light, that they'll be like, oh, we didn't think of that. Because
Right. Okay.
remember, everything that AI can do currently is it's a repackaged format of everything that we've done. So there isn't any creative thought. There isn't any original thought. Anything creative that it's going to do, it's going to have to look in its archives and pick out what's been done before to create.
Yeah.
So how does it become
Oh, what? So you don't
innovative?
think it will have the ability to predict, or to create something new?
No. How? It's going to
Because
have to
it
go
will
into
only look
its
at.
job is to go back into its files and find out what you're asking. I mean, you could literally say, I don't know, create me a picture like the Mona Lisa, but on doing a handstand or something. It has to go back and look at the Mona Lisa. Do you see what I mean? So where's the creativity can only come from us, I think personally. It's going to be.
But I was thinking.
Go on.
Sorry, go on, please, Karen. I was thinking it was along the lines of if it will look at. So how did man do this for the last 5 years? How do I make that better? So it's using the data of yesterday to make tomorrow better. I think that's
Yeah.
what
So
AI
and that's just literally that is the benefit, isn't it? It's the streamlining and its ability to multitask, its ability to do repetitive tasks much better, faster, and without any errors, which is what the human element is. Yeah. It will automate all of the repetition work. So yes, that's right. But the creative part of it, do you see what I mean? Where does
Yeah.
that can only come from us? Can only come from
Right.
us.
Okay.
Everything else
For
that
now.
AI does, for now, I
Yeah.
will say that. But everything else, it's digging into an archive about the subject matter, whatever it is, whatever you're asking for, has to go back and then say, right, okay, got this now. Now let me do my thing, which is to be fast and
Yeah.
condense and whatever. Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you a question then. Do you believe that AI in its current form is a benefit or a hindrance to us?
I mean, it's both, isn't it? It is both, and it depends who you are. So, if I'm a factory worker in a car manufacturing plant in Ohio, for example, right, and AI comes and displaces me from my job, obviously it's a bad thing, right?
Yeah.
Person who owns the car plant is a good thing. So, do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
But is it a good thing? Because who are you expecting to buy your car now that you've made all of the people in that town unemployed? I don't know.
Yeah. So, like where we sometimes talk about different types of government, and they say we want, more big, big government or little government. Would you want in the society we have to have more AI or less AI?
Less, because
Why?
people need jobs. One, two. I don't think I don't trust the people who are in charge of this stuff. These people, the technocrats. I don't think they're the ones who should really be. I mean, they're trying to send mining equipment onto asteroids to mine for gold and platinum, and so these guys,
Yeah,
they think on a different level, on a
they
different
do. Yeah,
wavelength, and so
definitely.
they're not seeing us and our stories. They're not thinking like that. They're already on Mars. They're already on asteroids. So we might just be collateral damage to them for So expecting them to put the brakes on, I don't know. I think maybe that's where governments would have to come in.
But do you think it's too late now. That the horse has it's shot out now. There is no way of reeling that back in, because it's being used in so many different fields now. Would it not be considered counterproductive if we had less AI?
No, I think you can wind back whatever you want at the end of the day. The COVID showed us that things can just stop.
Yeah.
In a heartbeat. And whatever you was thinking you could do today or tomorrow, you're not doing it. So man is not God. So I don't think so. I think we can do whatever we have the will, the political will, or the financial will, whatever to do. We can do it, but we're going up against these people.
Yeah, I mean, the human story has been constantly about improving, evolving, and getting better at doing things.
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine that, and I'm going to put this question to you: doesn't AI have the similar story? We've already talked about where AI started from. Mm-hmm. Can you not see it naturally evolving to become either a monster or a necessity for humans today?
I think what's going to happen is we're going to live in sort of two separate worlds almost simultaneously. So there are going to be people who are going to shun these things, and a bit like in the iRobot, you're going to have somebody who just doesn't mess with this stuff at all. It's anti anything robots and AI. And there'll be the sort of the outliers that live outside of the norm, and then for the rest, everything will be automated. You'll wake up and your TV will talk to you like Alexa and stuff like that. And for some people it's going to work, because some people are going to be lonely and talk to their Alexas. Who knows? But what was your original question? Sorry.
Well, no, it's just along the fact that AI will evolve, and that evolution is going to go in. It could go in different ways. In fact, from what I get from you, you're saying that AI will evolve in multiple different ways at the same time.
Yeah, definitely.
So as you said, it will evolve in a positive way to the car owner, potentially in a negative way to the factory worker. But AI will now need to work a way of the financing, because as you said, if that whole town dies because no one's buying their cars, AI will now need to find a new market. It will need to find a new sphere to be able to do its work.
But this is where I think the UBI stuff comes in, because they're going to give you money so that you now still can buy stuff from them, even though they've made you unemployed.
Universal what? Is that like
universal basic income?
Universal basic income, and that was what was.
They've tried it already, haven't they? It's been in Canada for a while.
Right. See, this is. I think that's for another discussion, because obviously that opens a whole can of worms. I didn't know it was being tested. I must admit I was a little bit green there. So we'll have to do some more research and discuss that. So we're getting close to the hour. So obviously I wanted our discussion to be an hour long. Are there any sort of concluding comments that you'd like to say in terms of, because believe it or not, before we started doing this show, I had assumed that you would be anti-AI. I actually thought that I was going to be the pro and you would be the anti, when actually I get the impression that you're actually quite pro-AI. You're quite
I'd say my feet are in both camps.
Both camps, right.
Yeah, because you okay, so in conclusion, I think in the right hands, it's going to be a force for good.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot, but then do you trust the people whose hands it's in? Do you trust the Elon Musks of this world?
Yeah. It's funny, his name seems to pop up quite a bit.
yeah. I mean, He's on the timeline a lot, isn't he?
So there
if
was
it's not controlled, then I can see Mad Max 4. Do you know what I mean? It's, water will be the resource that we're unaliving people for. Do you know what I mean?
So I'm going to read to you the 2 paragraphs of what came out of my research, and it talked about current trends, and it said recent years have seen continued advancements in AI, including the development of more sophisticated neural network architectures. Now, when I talk about the neural links, Elon Musk comes up again, because he has obviously been able to artificially, inseminate a human with a chip, which is amazing. And it says this will reinforce learning techniques and the growing intersection of AI with other fields like neuroscience and quantum computing. Throughout its history, AI has been shaped by interdisciplinary collaborations among computer scientists, mathematicians, philosophers, psychologists, and other experts. Despite ongoing challenges and debates, AI continues to evolve and redefine our understanding of intelligence and technology's role in society. Now, the reason I wanted to read that part there was because it hasn't mentioned the common man. It's scientists, mathematicians, philosophers, psychologists, experts. It's on a different level.
This is what I'm saying. When you're dealing with those kind of people, I think the way that they think is so far outside of the normal realms. We don't really factor into their equations a lot of the times.
Which to me is probably the worrying thing.
And that's why I said that I think that what will happen is that something glaringly obvious will come out and they'll be like, oh, we didn't think of that.
Yeah.
Because there's humans involved. Like, well, obviously we couldn't do that. Do you know what I mean? So
I feel like we need the launch codes for the nuclear weapons to just be in the hands of multiple humans that all need to work together to be able to do it, so that they never do it.
A general consensus,
because there you can't teach AI you can't teach it a conscience
or ethics or anything.
Or ethics along those lines. AI doesn't care because it doesn't eat, it doesn't sleep, it won't need any of the things that we will need. And going back to the sci-fi movies, the war of tomorrow will be fought by robots because it's a lot easier to destroy a robot. You can rebuild it. You just can't rebuild a human.
Well, remember what you said. You just mentioned quantum computing.
Yes.
Quantum computing is what they're saying will make all of this stuff with AI obsolete. So, yeah. Look, do some research. Do your Googles. Do your Googles on quantum computing. Yeah.
So I know that. Well, if that's the case, then I again, LD, I am very, very grateful for you to hang out and spend some time with us. The Small YouTuber Show will discuss all different subjects, all different topics, and I'm really looking forward to discussing as many different things as we can. Hopefully, this has given some value. The discussions that we've had today is giving you some thoughts, things to think about. If you'd like to be on the show, please holler at me, leave me a message. And if you've got a real good topic that you think will give value to the viewers, I'm really interested to talk to you about it. Thank you very, very much for your time, LD. I'm not quite sure what our subject will be next, but don't worry, I'll figure something. Or it'll be maybe your turn to think of something because I thought of this one.
No worries.
And guys, if you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Hit the thumbs up for me, as the algorithm loves to promote channels that are liked. So if you could like the channel, I'd really appreciate it. And also, if you're feeling very generous, hit the bell. So that will give you all the notifications, so that if you want to see any of my future content, it will come up in your feed. So guys, take care, and we will see you in the next one. Peace out.